Hello, everybody. It's the TheShaunShow Season 2, Episode 16, and we're talking about Week 14 of NFL football. That's right. Let's get straight into it. Let us get straight into this. As we do every week, we are checking out the sim results for the week. And last week, the sim did absolutely shockingly. Just like I did in Against the Spread. It was not a good week. Week 13. Unlucky number. I'm not suspicious. Either way, games the sim got right. San Fran over Browns. Texans over Colts. Dolphins over Saints. Bucks over Cardinals. And the Seahawks over the Vikings. Let's have a look at these losses though. Rams losing. It's kind of unexpected to the Panthers. Panthers have been a sneaky little team, though. Falcons losing to the Jets is a surprise. Sim picking Raiders against the Chargers. Don't know what I was thinking there. Picking Washington, picking the Giants. I don't know. The sim did itself in. Let's move on to the next section. A new little section, actually. So this is the current playoff picture. This is a terrible graphic. I don't know why I'm paying the graphics team so much. Anyway, if the season was to end today, these would be your playoff teams. 1 through 4 on either side being the leaders in their respective divisions. And then the 5 through 7 being the next best 7 teams. Eliminated already in week 13 of week 18. The Raiders, the Titans, the Cardinals, the Saints, and the Giants all can begin to look forward tomorrow to next year and can all start booking their holidays. Nice. Which of these teams do I think is going to be better next year? The Cardinals, if they figure out their quarterback situation. The Giants, when their new 2 rookies are both healthy. And hopefully there is a new head coach that brings in a regime. It might take them a while to get good, depending on the head coach. But I think they see an uptick next season. The Saints. These guys have been a bit more competitive lately. Kellen Moore as the head coach. I think things will start to look better next season. This season, going into the job, Kellen Moore did have a massive cap hit. It was like 50 million over the cap. Something insane like that. So I think they start to work their pieces through. And then guess what? Bub Means will be back. So this team's probably going to the Super Bowl next season. Let's go, Bub Means. On the AFC side, the Tennessee Titans. I don't know. Can't tell you. I don't really follow them that much. Their defense is all right, though. So there's the start. And moving on to the Raiders. The Raiders, I don't know if the Pete Carroll, Geno Smith thing is working. I think maybe the best thing to do would be to switch out Geno. That might be the easiest thing. If it doesn't work with a new quarterback, then probably look at switching out head coach Pete Carroll. They got Ashton Genty, great running back. They got Brock Bowers, great tight end. They got a couple of receivers. They got their franchise man on the D-line going absolutely ham every single week. But yeah, I just don't know. This franchise needs to pull itself out of the rubbish bin. But that is what the NFC and the AFC looks like right now. And this is very subject to change week to week, which is why we're trying to show this now. But moving on. Let's go to the sim picks for this week. What is going on there? The graphics team has absolutely just dogged me again. Alright, I'm going to have to do this manually. We're going to have to take this into our own hands and find out exactly what the sim has picked for those top 3 games up there. So it did pick the Lions on Thursday Night Football, which I don't know what the graphics team's doing. We can't trust any of the numbers down the bottom. So let's just forget that. Cowboys did win this week. pulling up a nice upset against the Detroit Lions. Now, would you say it's an upset? I don't know. This Cowboys team is rolling. That's the second loss in a row. No. What is going on here? The Lions won. What? I don't understand what this graphic is, and I'm sorry about that. We'll just have to double check this as we go. Okay, so the sim. Who to pick? NFC East. The sim did pick the Lions to win that game. That's why it is 9-5 right now on Thursday Night Football. Now, let's go over to the Seahawks. The Seahawks versus the Falcons. I just need to find that division in my little thingy here. I have the Falcons to win this game. Well, the sim has the Falcons to win this game. I don't know what that's about. I'm going with the Seahawks here. I think everybody in kind of their right mind would as well. And moving on to the AFC North, a clash of titans. Both of these teams sitting atop of their division, but it is not safe. It is not safe. Joey Burrows is back, and that team is going to be rolling right through to the end. So this week, the sim has picked the Ravens to beat the Steelers. I think the Ravens do win this game, but I might have the Steelers to cover or not. Can't remember. Either way, the sim has picked the Steelers. Now moving on to that last game, which we don't have any data on. Let's find out what the sim believes. The sim thinks that the Browns will beat the Titans, and I also do agree with that. Okay, moving on to the rest of the picks for the sim. It's got the Colts over the Jags. It's got the Washington Commanders over the Vikings. It's got the Dolphins over the Jets. The Bucks over the Saints. Bengals over the Bills. It's going to get this one wrong there with the this AFC matchup of the Broncos versus the Raiders. I do believe the Broncos will probably win that game out. It has picked the Bears against the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals in that divisional matchup against LA Rams. And then it's got the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football taking out the Chiefs. And then it also, for Monday Night Football, has picked the Chargers over the Seahawks. Bye week this week, we've got the Patriots, the Niners, the Carolina Panthers, and New York Giants. All right, let's move away from this absolutely dreaded section. Against the spread. Here we go. So as we can see with a correct graphic, against the spread, I did absolutely terrible. 4 of 8. Our season record has strayed away from that 500 mark, but we're going to try and get it back this week. And this week seems a bit, I don't want to say easy, it seems deceptive. I'm going to say it seems deceptive, so let's go through it. Lions did take out the Cowboys in Detroit on Thursday Night Football. Moving forward, disregard everything that I said earlier. Now, we've got the Seahawks against the Falcons. I do have the Seattle Seahawks here, 6.5 points. I think Kirk Cousins might be heading the Falcons this week. Either way, the Seahawks is just an absolutely dominant team, but I think we've got some Bijan Robinson in the bets there. Let's move on to this AFC North division rivalry. We've got the 6-6 Pittsburgh Steelers versus the 6-6 Baltimore Rams. Couple of players out for each team. Nothing too wild though. Most of the players are healthy. Baltimore's defense has been kind of getting better every week. Pittsburgh's defense has its ups and downs. Let's say that. Same with the offense. And the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, since returning from his injury, I don't think he's thrown a touchdown. So that's kind of scary, especially, I don't know, this is likely a low-scoring game. Could be a very high-scoring game. Either way, I'm not sure if it's going to be a great watch, to be honest. I do have the Ravens here, 5.5 points. At home. Next, we've got another shit show of a game here. We've got the Cleveland Browns 3-9 versus the Tennessee Titans 1-11. The Browns are not officially eliminated yet because the top of their division is 6-6. I don't know what's going on with this division this season. Either way, I've got the Browns here. Shedeur Sanders is heading the team. They do have a lot of questionables and a few more outs than the Titans, but this Titans team, I don't know, they might be tanking for a first draft pick. I don't know. I do have the Browns at 3.5 though. The Browns have a great defense at home. The Tennessee Titans also have a great defense. We're looking at the under on this game as well, so keep that in mind. Next, another divisional matchup. The Indianapolis Colts 8-4 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars 8-4. The Jags are actually favored here in this game. Don't know why that says that, but the Jags are the favorite. It's basically a pick'em. I can't trust anything that this graphics team has done this week, but that's okay. I am picking the Jacksonville Jags here, plus 1.5 or minus 1.5. It doesn't really matter. I think in the last X amount of seasons, the Colts just have not won in Jacksonville. They're just not up to it. And this Jacksonville Jags team is kind of on an interesting roll as well. This could be their year where they finally figure it out. Finally, we've been longing for it for ages. Again, I do have the Jags here in Jacksonville. NFC game, not really a divisional matchup. 3-9 Washington Commanders take on the 4-8 Minnesota Vikings. JJ McCarthy has cleared concussion protocol, so he will be playing. Jaden Daniels has been cleared. He will play. He had that elbow injury earlier in the season, but now he's back. Terry McLaurin had a big game last week. Zach Ertz had a big game last week. This Minnesota Vikings defense has become stingy in the last few weeks, so this will be kind of a good offense versus a good defense, and a who knows what you're going to get offense against who knows what you're going to get defense. So this could be an interesting game right here. I am picking the Commanders. I do not have very much faith in JJ McCarthy at this point. I've seen some some reports where Aaron Jones was saying something that alluded to the playbook being dumbed down for JJ McCarthy, and then I've also heard other things where Kevin O'Connell has told JJ McCarthy to just rip it, basically. So we'll see what happens. We could see a massive uptick in the Vikings play here this week. They've got a great running game. They've got an enormous amount of weapons on the offense. It's just that key position that needs to figure it out. Again, I've got the Commanders. Until the Vikings show me that there's something different, I'm going to ride with the previous hot hand of the Washington Commanders. Now, we do have an AFC East matchup. We've got the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets. Miami is favored, 2.5 points here. I've got some bets on Devon Kane. That guy is a monster. Now, the Jets typically have a good defense. I don't know what it's like as of late, though. But the Dolphins' offense and defense have been starting to figure it out after a really bad start to the season. Not going to be a great game. Could be explosive on the Dolphins' side, though. Tyrod Taylor will be heading the Jets as well. Justin Fields has a knee injury. He was not cleared for this game. So I'm going with the Dolphins here. They've just been doing some good things recently, offensively and a little bit more defensively. This is in the Factory of Sadness 2.0, so I have no faith in the New York team, and we're going the Dolphins. Now, another division rivalry. A lot of division rivalries towards the end of the season. Lots of teams did not have divisional matchups early in the season, so now they're all compressed to the end. Makes some really interesting football. I wonder if the NFL schedule makers are going to kind of stick with this. But we'll see this trend. We'll see this trend over this week. Now, The Saints, we just talked about it. They are starting to get competitive. They are 2-10. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are fighting for something. They're still in the hunt, 7-5. I'm going with the Buccaneers here. 8.5 points is a lot, and I honestly think that the New Orleans Saints probably cover. It's just that this Buccaneers team has been slowly getting healthier and healthier. I know Baker Mayfield may have hurt his non-throwing arm a couple of weeks back, but he's a monster. He's going to play the game. We'll see what happens here. I'm still going to ride with the Bucs on at 8.5 points. Next up, Cincinnati Bengals, 4-8. It's their chance to start writing their destiny. Joey Burrows is back. We've got the Buffalo Bills, 8-4, with a hot start, with a defense that's kind of leaky, against an offense that is absolutely fire when it's rolling. Ooh. We'll see what happens here. I do have the over for this game, and I am taking the dog in this match. The Bengals at 5.5 points. I really think the Bengals probably win this game, honestly. But again, here you go. T. Higgins is back to full healthiness. Joey Burrows has all of his weapons, and he's gonna play. Now the Buffalo Bills offense is also high-powered. Both of these teams' defenses kind of suck. So again, that's why I'm taking the over. This is going to be an absolute shootout. This is a game to watch, actually. If you like exciting football, this is a game to watch. Now we've got the divisional matchup of the AFC West. Denver Broncos going into Las Vegas, favored at 7.5 points. Denver Broncos 10-2. Las Vegas Raiders 2-10. This is a divisional matchup. This Denver Broncos offense still has not quite started clicking on a consistent basis, or at least consistently through drive after drive. So they're not putting up a massive amount of points. They are an absolute powerhouse on defense, though, so good chance that Geno Smith throws maybe 3 picks. Max Crosby might get home once. Let's say he gets home. Nick Bonito is going to get home. It's going to be a very defensive heavy game. I'd take the under on this one as well, but I am going with the Broncos, 7.5 points. The Raiders' offensive woes are just so strong, and they just, I don't know. They've got probably the greatest tight end to ever come out of college and start producing straight away under the helm. He did some amazing things last week, but they just need to feed him the rock. They need to rely on Brock Bowers. Until they do that, I'm going with the Broncos here. 7.5 is a lot of points for this game. I may switch to the Raiders. I'm switching to the Raiders. Yeah. Actually, no, I have no faith in the Raiders against this Broncos defense. Broncos defense probably scores. Going with the Broncos. All right, another divisional matchup, and this one is huge. Chicago Bears, 9-3, Kings of the North right now, Kings of the NFC, going into Green Bay on a cold day. Try and take on the Cheeseheads, 8-3-1, breathing down their neck. Now, if the Packers win this game, this puts them at the top of the North, but only briefly. They do need to verse the Bears again, and in Chicago. Rome Odunze is out for this game. That's huge. See Loveland to get a lot of ball this week. Probably huge receptions. They're going to have to try and rely on that two-headed beast at running game. But the Packers have been absolutely stout against the run, and I probably just jinxed it. Out for the Packers, we've got Marshawn Lloyd, running back, Savion Williams, wide receiver, Lucas Van Ness is still out. I think Jaden Reed might have gotten cleared for this game, and Matthew Golden is questionable as well. So some nice things coming back. Hey, Nate Hobbs is also questionable as well, so he's looking to come back soon. Javon Bullard, safety, is also questionable. Now, 6.5 points is a lot of points. This Bears team has been keeping it tight. The thing about this Bears team is that they can take the ball away. They've got the most in the league, at least with interceptions. If you keep it clean and don't give the ball away, then you score a lot of points on this Bears defense. If you let them take the ball away, then you're going to start being in trouble. The game's going to be close. So Jordan Love and the Packers need to keep this one safe, keep it tight, keep it clean, and they can get out of this one, I believe, with the 6.5 points and the dub. Let's move on. Another divisional game. Oh my god. We've got the Los Angeles Rams 9-3 and the Arizona Cardinals 3-9. Los Angeles Rams right now tied for the top of their division with the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks might have the edge in a head-to-head. I'm not 100% sure. But Rams getting 8.5 points here against this Arizona Cardinals team who is 3-9, who are trying to figure it out. Los Angeles did lose to Carolina last week, so they're probably going to want to make a statement piece of this game. Against the Cardinals, they're probably going to want to beat up on them and get a lot of points on the board, so I'm going to take them. They need to start getting their motor ready for the postseason, to be honest. So this is a good match for them to turn it around. That Carolina Panthers team, again, is a scary little team, so you got to be careful of them, as everybody does moving forward. Especially, yeah. A lot of hearts going to be broken by that Carolina Panthers team this season. Now we go to Sunday night football. We've got the Houston Texans riding high off a nice little win streak, actually. Getting that division win against their rivals, the Indianapolis Colts, sitting at 7-5. The Chiefs at 6-6, still trying to make their way into the playoffs after a very, very rocky start. Kansas City, getting 3.5 points here at home. I am going to roll with the Texans. I think the Texans have done this before. They are an amazing defense. The offense has finally kind of started to figure things out. CJ Stroud is back. Let's go, Houston. 3.5 points. I feel really good about this one. I actually think Texans can win this game, and I think they probably do. Now, final game of the week, Monday Night Football. The Super Bowl champions, 8-4, leaders of the NFC East currently, the Philadelphia Eagles, going into LA to take on the 8-4 Chargers. Now, at the start of the season, especially after that very first game of the season, you would not be surprised to see an 8-4 next to the Los Angeles Chargers name, and you probably would expect to see a higher number in the wins column there. But at this point in the season, after kind of just the drought that they went through, I guess, I don't know, man. It's surprising to see them at 8-4. It's good to see them at 8-4. I just want to state that. I've got the Eagles here, 2.5 points. The Chargers could definitely do this, but that Eagles team is slipping, actually. It's actually slipping. I think they just need to open up the playbook a bit more and get Jalen throwing the ball more, at least down the field to A.J. Brown when they need those points, and using Dallas Goedert a bit more in the pass game. As right now, they just kind of keep it kind of compact and gritty, but you're going to have to start opening it up. This season is different to last season, and you guys are not the strongest team in the league anymore. Having said that, I do have the Eagles at 2.5. Moving on to lines we like, the beginning part of the betting section of the show. So on the left hand, we've got our favorite dogs. That's right, these are our favorite dogs for the week. Your underdogs who could definitely win their matchups. This week I've got the Jacksonville Jags I really like them against the Colts. The Cincinnati Bengals, I really like them against the Bills. We've got the Chicago Bears. I like them against the Packers, but I don't want them to win. I don't like them. I'm a Packer fan. So, even though they are my favorite dog this week, I don't want them to win. Then we have the Houston Texans, also my favorite dog this week. We may as well throw the Chargers up there. Screw it. We're throwing the Chargers up there as favorite dogs as well. I did not pick them against the spread. Probably going to bite me in the butt. But those are my favorite dogs this week. Throw them into a parlay if you like. That's some pretty nice odds there, by the way. Right in the dogs. Tasty. Anyway, that's the first half of lines we like. There's a favorite dog section. Jacksonville Jags, Cincinnati Bengals, Chicago Bears, Houston Texans. Write it down. Chuck it on the slip. Boom. Next up, on the right side of lines we like. These are simple over and unders. These are things that you can use to beef up your parlays, or else you can just make a parlay straight up out of them. Titans vs Browns, 33.5 points is not a lot of points, and I don't think that many points is going to be scored this week. I've got the under here. Bengals versus the Bills, 53.5 points is not a lot of points for these two teams. Think about it. They can both score 40 if they like. Got the Bears, the Packers. I do have the total under here of 44.5. I just don't know how I feel about this game. I think the Packers defense keeps it tight, keeps it clean. Maybe holds the Bears to, let's say, 17 points. And then the Packers offense can go to work and keep it clean, keep it safe, get that dub. Either way, I think it's probably a bit of a gritty game. The end of it could become explosive, which would push it over. But it is divisional. I'm so torn here. I'm going with the under. Next, we got Rams Cardinals. Again, this is a divisional. Like I said, these are two teams that can score. Rams are riding off that loss, so they're going to want to probably try to put Cardinals in the ground, but the Cardinals are not going to let them do that. So 47.5 points I think is very doable this week for this game. And then we have the Texans and the Chiefs, total over of 41.5. Now the Texans are an amazing defense. They'll be able to score. The Texans offense will be able to get at least 21 points. And I think the Chiefs will figure out how to score as the game goes on. So this one could hit the over probably towards the fourth quarter right there. Now, regular props. T. Higgins is back and healthy. His over for receivings is 53.5 yards. And I like that. I do. I really do. Then I've got Bijan Robinson. He's only got an over of 38.5 receiving yards this week. He's eclipsed 40 in pretty much all of his games this season, where he's caught, more than 3 passes. So that's a really good bet I like. Terry McLaurin only has an over of 54.5. Again, this Minnesota defense has been kind of stingy. But this is scary Terry, damn it. 54.5 is nothing to this man. Then we've got Darnell Washington over receiving yards of 23.5. That's right, this is all receiving yards. This is that big man, that big man on campus for Pittsburgh Steelers. He led the tight ends last week. I think he when he's used, his usual is 40 plus. So 23.5 is kind of modest, especially in a game where I think they're going to be using him quite a bit. Aaron Rodgers' use of DK has fallen off, but we'll see what happens in this game. Next, we got Brenton Strange, the big man tight end coming out of Jacksonville. 44.5 receiving yards. He is very popular in the receiving game for Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence does like throwing to this guy. He grabbed a nice touchdown last week as well. I think he gets over 44.5 receiving here. But yeah, just keep an eye on this man. He's an absolute weapon. Either way, that was lines we like. Now the final section of the show, the actual betting section. These bets that I throw on every week. We have a tradition here. We got our 5-game parlay on the left, so we'll go over that. We've got the Miami Dolphins money line against the Jets. We've got Seattle Seahawks money line against the Atlanta Falcons. We've got Washington Commanders money line against the Minnesota Vikings. Then we've got the Cincinnati Bengals. I've got plus 5.5 here. I do think they can win the game, but I'm just going to be safe and take plus 5.5 here against the Bills. Then we've got the Houston Texans plus 4.5 against the Chiefs. I think that line changed today to actually bump it up to 4.5. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, I think Texans can win this game, but we'll just be safe and take the plus money. That's the 5-game parlay. Throw it on your line. Change something up if you don't like it. I don't care. But that's what I feel good about this week, at least. Now, on the right side of the screen, you'll see $1 million parlay. What? That's right. For those of you who are new to the show, that's probably all of you. This is $1 million parlay. On the Shaun Show, we want to become millionaire, and we want to do it the easy way. That's right. We want to put on a $10 bet. We want to enjoy the Sunday football. And at the end of it, we want to be a millionaire. It's that simple. This is a 100,000 to 1 odd bet. $10 will get you a milli. Here we go. Devon Kane against the Jets, over 125 rushing yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba, over 125 receiving yards against the Falcons. I've got Brenton Strange, 70 plus receiving yards against the Colts. Travis Etienne in that same game, 90 plus rushing yards. And then in that same game, Travis Etienne to pick up 2 touchdowns. Big game from him tomorrow. Then we've got Shedeur Sanders to pick up that touchdown. We talked about this last week. This will be his 3rd game, as a possible starter. So he's in line for that touchdown. Then I've got Chase Brown for the Bengals picking up a tutty in that one. Then I've got the Bengals versus Bills over 64.5 points. It's a lot of points, not that much points. It's not that much points. Then we've got Josh Jacobs, 70 plus rushing yards against the Bears. The Green Bay Packers have been figuring out their rushing a bit more this later half of the season. I think Josh, like a couple of weeks back, a second running back hit 100 rushing yards, which was the first time in the season the Packers have done that. One rushing back has done that this season. So Josh Jacobs getting a bit healthier as well this week. I think he picks up 70 rushing yards, and that's the total parlay. It's 100,000 to 1 odd bet. Throw $10 on there. Enjoy Sunday football and become a millionaire just like me. And then you can do your own show. Oh, that'd be cool. I'd watch you. You should watch me more. Anyway, if you enjoy the show, give us a sub. I'll be back next week to talk about more. Today, in other news that we're not going to cover today, the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup did draw all of their groups. So check that out. Yeah. Anyway, enjoy the football. I'll be back soon. Take care.